Episode 3, the Fueling Series. Why glucose destabilizes the system. Your body does not respond to food emotionally. It responds to food informationally. Every molecule you ingest is interpreted as a signal about energy availability, about safety, about whether the environment you're living in is predictable or chaotic. Glucose is not inherently evil. It is a fuel source the body knows how to use. The problem is not glucose itself. The problem is chronic glucose signaling in a system that evolved for scarcity and variability, not constant abundance. To understand this, we need to look at what your nervous system actually cares about. Your nervous system is not optimized for pleasure. It is optimized for energy reliability. Reliable energy means steady availability, predictable delivery, minimal fluctuation. Unreliable energy means rapid spikes, rapid drops, and constant correction. Glucose delivers energy quickly, but quickly is not the same as reliably. When glucose enters the bloodstream rapidly, insulin must rise rapidly to manage it. This creates a cycle of fast availability, fast clearance, and then perceived scarcity again. From the nervous system's perspective, this is not abundance. This is instability. And instability forces the system into vigilance. When energy delivery becomes unpredictable, the body increases seeking behavior. Not because you lack willpower, not because you're weak, but because your system is attempting to correct an energy prediction error. Hunger increases, cravings intensify, thoughts narrow towards food. This is not addiction language. This is homeostatic correction. The body is trying to restore stability. Over time, repeated glucose-driven spikes and drops train the nervous system to expect volatility. Insulin remains elevated longer, cells become less responsive to its signal, energy becomes harder to access, even when plenty is present. This is insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is not a moral failure. It is an adaptive response to chronic instability. But it comes at a cost. As insulin signaling degrades, fat storage increases, hunger decouples from need, energy becomes harder to mobilize, and inflammation rises. At the same time, frequent glucose exposure alters the intestinal environment. Certain carbohydrates, especially refined and processed ones, increase gut permeability. When the intestinal barrier weakens, particles that should remain inside the gut enter systemic circulation. The immune system responds. Low-grade inflammation becomes chronic. Inflammation further worsens insulin signaling, and a self-reinforcing loop is created. This is the intersection point. Insulin resistance and gut permeability are not separate problems. They amplify each other. And once that loop is established, the body becomes trapped in a state of constant correction. More hunger, more fatigue, more inflammation, less clarity, less resilience. The system is not broken. It is over-signaled. This is why partial changes often fail. Reducing glucose a little often leaves the nervous system inside noise. The signal is still unstable. The prediction cannot update. Clarity requires contrast. When glucose signaling is reduced, enough for long enough, the system finally recalibrates. Insulin levels fall, energy access stabilizes, hunger quiets, inflammation decreases. Not because you forced it, but because the information changed. This is why decisive nutritional shifts often work where moderation does not. Not because they are extreme, but because they are clear. Your body does not need perfection. It needs coherent signals. In episode 4 of the Fueling series, we will examine fat and protein as signaling molecules, and why stable energy sources change behavior, appetite, and inflammation without requiring constant restraint.